Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to Misty Hills. So, early morning here on the farm. Gonna have to do some time adjustments in a bit, but just trying to get going. Had topped off my pigs. I pushed it a little too far, but they're good now. I've still got the truck over there waiting to give them some more potatoes, as I couldn't quite get that in because I had overfilled on other areas. So what would a Misty Hills video be, or an episode be, without plans that we thought we had being thrown out the window and changing? And yes, I understand I'm pulling my truck along. I'm hoping as I pull away here that will leave it. There we go. Probably just gonna crash into things here. Alright, so I need to top off my fertilizer and seeds, so let me do that first, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I kind of had my same issue where I got stuck on the silos, which is, you know, par for the course with this thing. But in pretty good shape here, so we're going to head over this way. But I'm full up on seed and fertilizer, as you can see. There we go. I thought I was all the way zoomed out, but not quite. So now we are. So still a little above 1.2 million. We're kind of maintaining our level. Basically, the pig sales have been, and the slurry sales have been enough to tread water. We haven't had to really buy anything at this point as far as supplies or anything like that, so that would explain some of that. Alright, so just trying to get everything set. Whoops, gotta go back here. Lowering down. And turning on. What? Hold on, well, maybe our plan is... Alright, so I'm gonna go head back here. So, plans changed again. Or plans changed back, I guess. I just kind of created my own issue. So I was, as I mentioned the last time we talked, I was thinking sunflowers for the protein instead of soybeans. When I took a peek at some testing I had done way back at the beginning of FS22, from a straight yield perspective, canola was actually better than corn. But the planting window for canola, as you saw for a second there, is past. So I cannot do that. And it's not a huge difference. Soybeans is by far the lowest yield. But I can't plant sunflowers with this, so my initial change in plan was going to be to plant canola because I could get more off. But it's now May. I was unable to get on the farm due to just real life realities at all last month or yesterday. So I had decided that's okay, because sunflowers have just, you know, have a 3-month planting window like everything else did, and I figured I'd be alright. But I can't plant canola, so now we're back to planting sunflowers, which is okay. I mean, because I was thinking, well, you know, aside from the whole plow work that I had talked about and so forth, like, this will work out. But so best laid plans once again, as this, whoops, there's a tree there. I thought I had room to turn, but because obviously I've got the auger pretty close. I got through. Alright. So, big, fancy sunflower, except now I need to just cycle back and go and refill things again. So, let me go do that. We'll come back over to the far end of the field, and then I'll see you there as we're getting ready to start, and we'll pick up there. Alright, so here we are. Let's see if this'll all work. Got the planter lowered, and we're starting up here, and there we go. So we had a few weeds at the edge that look like they didn't go, but it looks like we are planting and fertilizing. So we're going to get sunflowers in here, and that will be the protein for the pigs, and we should then be good for a little while and be able to think about something else. I was going to kind of say, you know, the singular focus on the pigs won't need to continue, but you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's obviously been doing okay for the farm, and obviously once we stop planting and we can start, you know, selling crop off again, and we're not planting for pig feed, you know, we start turning a pretty good profit again, I imagine. I'm not quite sure why we got that server hiccup there. We might clip this tree, but we should be okay. Beyond just a little bump if we get it. It's more than a little bump, I guess. No, I guess it was a little bump. Alright, turn it back on. I guess it did get past. It's just the way it hung up. I thought I was really stuck, but it eventually got there just before or just after I hit the button, I guess. But I was able to turn disaster into something a little bit better. So I haven't used this planter for a while, obviously. I'm struggling with the dynamics of it a little more than I normally would. So I'm going to go ahead and cut across, I think, is kind of what I've been doing lately. So yeah, the difference, obviously, this planter's smaller than what we've got with the Seed Hawk, but obviously for certain crop types, the Seed Hawk won't work, and this is one of them, which is why we have this planter available to us as opposed to that other seeder. So yeah, just a little bit discombobulated this morning with change and change and change. I thought I knew what I was doing. So definitely a bit of an awkward start. So shake that off and kind of get into the swing of things now that we're finally moving along. So it's been several months, as you can see, obviously, since the last episode. Just kind of monitoring things. Nothing has come up that needed actual physical attention. There have been, I think, one field that has come up on auction, which is field 28, which is way south, which we had plowed. I think it had come up about a month ago, so it had gotten dealt with as far as the FSN duties from that. So let me turn that off. We are still obviously waiting for precision farming, because you know, I'm having to be really careful with a planter like this with fertilizer, because it won't stop at the edge of the field, which it doesn't always do with precision farming. But if I create a little bit of a headland or something, if I get into an area I've fertilized, it will stop applying. But we don't have that here. If I forget to hit the button, I'll just be wasting material. Seed obviously won't come out, but the fertilizer will. At this point, it looks like we're fertilizing faster than we're seeding. So, again, the size of these fields, definitely going to need to refill again before we're done, at least once. It's been so long since I've not used the Seed Hawk, I don't even remember if it's a double fill on this or not. The consumables on sunflowers are a little bit higher as well. So that was another thought I had with the canola. But alas, we kind of missed the window. I could have waited because canola is one of those crops that they allow us to plant twice to kind of help with double cropping. They give us 2 planting windows. But at this point, it's not that that bad of a situation to have sunflowers in, and aside from the fact that I do think sunflowers look nicer than canola. I mean, canola is nice with the little yellow tops just before they're ready for harvest, but nothing like sunflowers for brightening up a field. So I do enjoy them. I find them fun to work. And I have not done sunflowers yet on the farm here in Shellbrook, so let's do it. So yeah, we're waiting on precision farming, and kind of the other change that came into play in what I've been discussing is there have been changes on the FSN website with auctions. When you picked land, you'd see all the land, which really wasn't a big deal. I just ran a filter for our server name, and it would find if there was anything on the whole page. But I guess to improve quality of life, I guess that's kind of the change we describe it as. They've basically hidden land auctions from servers that are inaccessible to us. So at this point, when I go to the land auction page, many times there's just nothing there, because obviously if there's nothing up for Misty Brook, then we don't see anything. But that went on for many days, and of course, just like any change with technology, there's always a bit of trepidation of, I hope this is working right, because I'm not seeing anything, and I wouldn't know, I guess, if things never came up for auction. But now we have seen one appear, and it's running and active. I think it's either going to finish today or tomorrow. I think that's accurate. It doesn't really matter. I don't think anybody's bidding on it. We've got one of our FMs let us know he was away on vacation, so there's another one who has been helping them kind of keep their fields moving. So they're gone for, I think, like about a week in real time, so that almost makes a good part of a game year, 3/4 of a game year or so, 1/2 to 3/4. So they've asked for some help, and as I mentioned, I was unable to get on yesterday, so there was a little bit of a panic of trying to get some things done before the end of the day. But the FM that was kind of the primary helper was available. I kind of had raised my hand as a secondary option, but I just was unable to get on yesterday, so I didn't see all the exchange on that until today, which would have been too late anyway. And you know what? I just realized I kind of planted up on the wrong part of the field. I'm just all out of sorts. It doesn't really matter which half I do, but I really should have been planting the southern half. which is the one I had plowed in the off season, and now I'm up here planting over the sorghum we just harvested. So not a huge problem, but that'll just mean we're plowing here, which I guess works out actually, because we just plowed the southern end because of the potatoes and just decided to do it all. So it'll work out. And this funny thing is, just before I got in here, I had gone back and looked at my video to see where the sorghum was, and I'm like, yep, it was up north, so I need to go down south. And then, again, with everything that was happening, somehow in my brain it was, ooh, you gotta go up north, because I had seen the video where I was up north, and I guess that reprogrammed my head. So, oh well. But obviously at this point, we've started planting here. I'm not going to go ahead and then plant the south as well and really kind of throw things off. So we will just go with it. We might get a slightly small, we'll get a smaller yield here because this is a slightly smaller field, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know that it really matters that much. So overall, just a crazy bit of confusion, at least in my own head. So now we're on the crazy little hills here. I think that'll get us in line well enough. Yep. All right. So yeah, there's aside from a lot going on in real life, there's just been I feel out of sorts, I guess, even in the simming space, because I'm still waiting for some of the truck simulator stuff to clear up so that I can get back in and play there. I'm waiting for some map updates. At this point on Euro Truck Simulator, I was able to come up with a way to move forward on American Truck Simulator, and kind of did some work for an episode there to fire that one up again. But I was far enough ahead on that one that I really don't need episodes there right now. I mean, my biggest need is the Euro Truck series, because now I'm coming up on a week or two until I have a break in the schedule if I don't get some additional content moving along. So it'll be simple enough once I get in, to do 2, 3, 4 videos of content, and get far out enough ahead of things that I don't really have to worry about it. But it's been a significant delay at this point, well over a month. So, and so it's just been a lot of farming simulator to some degree. Got a little bit there that got missed, so I guess I'll turn around and try to touch that tiny bit up so that we get a full segment. There we go. Alright, so that is planted. I guess I'm going to have to see if I lift. No. Because, yeah, let me see if I... Alright, if I'm lifted, it looks like it's not planting or consuming anything, so that's good. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I had to turn off or if it worked the other way, but if it works the other way, that's better, because being down, I have some drag on the implement, and therefore it's harder to turn. So yeah, I haven't done that. I'm pretty far ahead on my train simulator side as well. probably still well over a month ahead. And so I've been kind of dabbling around in the single player in Farming Simulator. But it's, you know, between real life and that, it just somehow things feel a little bit off because I've not been in that rotation I was in for several months prior to Truck Simulator basically releasing the 1.44 versions of their game. You know, and as opposed to kind of the concerns I've had here in Farming Simulator with Giants, where it's like, ooh, you start all the way over. You know, obviously it's nothing like that. You know, I get to continue my games once the maps are updated. And in a lot of cases, like when I played a lot of single player, well, I mean, it's still single player, I guess. I'm not doing multiplayer that I'm taking a peek at there. But yeah, it was... I usually don't run a lot of those kind of maps for exactly that purpose, is that then when we change versions, I can just hop in. And if nothing else, I've got a version or a profile that I can play that is just kind of base game. So, you know, the challenge we're going to have that's still floating around in my head is like literally a week or so after, well, I guess not a week or so after I was able to get in. So after I had enough maps in ATS, so it's still like we're a month apart. But on the American Truck Simulator side, they've announced there's a 145 coming, which is basically going to start that cycle again. So likely what I'll be doing, if I think about it now, and it really just occurred to me, is I probably do need to get 4 or 5 episodes of the ATS in the hopper, so that if I have another month-long delay waiting for map updates, I'm not having any kind of a challenge there. But the fact that ETS has been getting so close, ETS2, to running short of things, has been on my mind for sure, and has been kind of top of mind and taken the priority in my thoughts. And so it's like while I'm in here in Farming Simulator, I'm kind of like thinking about, gee, I'd really like to be able to get to that, and it just hasn't worked out that way. So that gets you up to speed on what's been happening in the world for me. And, you know, aside from the fact that I'm kind of doing not quite what I wanted to do, not quite where I wanted to do it, but, you know, it'll all be good. We're progressing here again on Misty Hills in year 88, and I'm going to get this field done, and I'll be back and let you know how it all worked out. See you in a bit. So I'm back. Everything is planted. I think I'm checking out this little spot up here that looks like it might be... No, I think that's just well, no, I think it didn't. So I'll get it done just for thoroughness. So it's going to take a little bit to unfold here. And then we'll drop them down, turn them on, and there we go. Alright, so now we are done. We'll get ourselves parked away. But, yeah, not too terribly bad. I think a couple hours to get this field planted. We'll have to see once again how thorough a yield we get. It may not be as... Well, we know it won't be as much as the southern field, which was bigger, so there will be a little bit of disconnect there. but at least we've got this taken care of. So I'm 99.9% sure. I think I'm going to go ahead, and I'm obviously going to, take advantage of whatever it is to get the honey sold. But at this point, I've pretty much gotten to the point where I'm kind of ignoring the bees. And as such, they're not doing much good to the map or me. So I am going to... I think I'm going to get in here cleanly. No, of course not. So, unfortunately, we're pulling the auger along. I don't know. We'll leave it, but then I will have to move the auger at some point. Let me just get myself pulled out here. Because, yeah, I'm not going to need that planter for a while, I'm sure, so we'll reposition all that at some point. But again, I'm running tight on time, so I have got to get going. So in addition, I'm going to need to roll this field. I'm going to do that later today. I think you guys have seen enough rolling for a while, so I'm not going to take the time to add that to this episode. So just know the sunflowers are planted and rolled. If I don't roll them for some reason, if something comes up, I'll let you know. Because I do have some other things I need to get done today, but I think I should have time to roll them and kind of maximize yield and so forth. So, thanks for tagging along, and I'll see you next time.